Hello Soul Tribe, this is Renee Asiri from InsideJobHealing.com coming to you with this week's weekly energy forecast. I have some really good news. We have some passionate energies in the air, really great energies for our career and our love life, and energies to socialize, which we've been waiting for a long time. We're out of eclipse season, which is so wonderful. And the reason why I'm really excited about these energies is because you have an opposition between the two benefic planets of Venus and Jupiter. And that's really exciting because it brings these passionate energies, right? Especially if you're starting a new romance or you want to bring your romance to the next level. So these energies are really great, and they're also great for your career because Venus represents love, career, resources, and all that good stuff, and anything to do with relationships and harmony. And whereas Jupiter represents good luck, expansion, and fortune. And we're really lucky because Jupiter is still in Pisces, but it is getting ready to go retrograde and go back into the sign of Aquarius until the end of the year. So a lot of these energies are giving us a foreshadowing of the energies that we're going to be experiencing in 2022. We've had a really rough couple of years. We had last year restriction with Saturn in 2020 and lockdowns. And then this year we've been going back and forth with a conjunction of Saturn Uranus. So the old guard and the past fighting the new and changes and all that good stuff. So we've been ushering in this new paradigm. And I'm happy to report that Friday of this week, we're going to be experiencing a full moon in Aquarius, which is the sign of innovation, the sign of the future, humanitarianism, and all that good stuff. So our new life is already here. And now it's our job to assess and, maybe celebrate first with these passion energies, with these socializing energies, with these great energies for our career and love life this week, but also take some time to assess all the changes and restructuring we've been doing over the last few months since December of 2020 in order to usher in this new paradigm. Because if we were happy with our life the way it was, whether it's our career or relationships or our family life or work-life balance or whatever, if we were happy with the way things were, we wouldn't have been embarking on this whole adventure to restructure. So what I invite you to do is to look at your life, look at different aspects of your life, see if they're exactly what you want them to be. Because Saturn, which is, it's long-term foundations, it's the foundation, it's structure, it's the status quo, it's government systems, things like that. It's a very responsible disciplinarian energy is asking you to look at that because we have Saturn in retrograde. So we need to look at all these aspects that we restructured. So if you're somebody who has changed their career and went back to school the last few months, or someone who has ended a marriage or ended a relationship and you find yourself, in a new one, you need to look at that and say, okay, so I dismantled all these old systems. Are these new systems that I've created over the last 6 to 8 months, are they working for me? Are they my dream life? Or do I need to go back to the drawing board and restructure? So that is what Saturn in retrograde is inviting you to do, right? And also, it's also, you're going to be dealing with this energy all year where it's going to be like push and pull between the old way, the old guard Saturn, and then your instinct to change, which is ruled by Uranus. So we're going to be experiencing these energies all year. Now, luckily, right now, Jupiter is not in retrograde quite yet, so we do have these really nice benefic energies, positive energies that we get to enjoy. So I really suggest that you kind of celebrate the fruits of your labor. You've been working so hard for the last few months, not only assessing what's going on, but actually celebrating and enjoying the things that are going right in your life. Again, romance, passion, all that good stuff, because you have, Venus, which is in opposition to Jupiter. And normally the word opposition sounds bad, but actually it's really positive energies, really great for your love life and career. So I really invite you to really enjoy these energies this week. You might also be feeling really tired because a lot of us are affected by the moon. And so we're having the full moon, as I mentioned, in Aquarius this Friday. And so a lot of us feel that days before, days after, and actually feel it for at least a month later until the next full moon cycle. So like I said, most of us are in our new life, whether you realize it or not. It's already here, and it's time to just kind of like take a realistic assessment if it's what you really want. And so some of the strategies that I recommend, a lot of us are up leveling with this new full moon energy. It's a lot of strong energy because we're mostly water, so we're being being affected. So just be gentle with yourself. If you're experiencing ascension symptoms like cold symptoms or headaches or, flu-like symptoms, or you're feeling really exhausted, sleep more, be gentle with yourselves, things like that. And if you're somebody who's definitely ruled by the moon, so if you're Cancer anything, I would pay even closer attention to what you're experiencing. And definitely what I would suggest is you slow down this week, you do a lot of self-care and up the self-care, right? And full moon, well, let's talk about what a full moon entails. A full moon is all about reaping what you sow. So all the seeds that you planted over the last few months, especially over the last new moon. So if you can recall, what are some seeds you planted during the new moon, a few weeks ago, because a full moon is all about harvest. So right now, this is a time for celebration. It's a time to see the harvest of all the things that you planted. So if you went back to school, maybe you got your degree or your license or your certification or whatever it is. If you left a relationship, maybe you're now meeting somebody who's more in alignment with you, who kind of meets your needs on an emotional level. So I really want you to kind of look at all the restructuring that you've done and really reap the benefits and celebrate them and harvest, because full moons are a time of harvest, right? Something else that I want to mention as well is other planets have been in retrograde too, right? Because we've got Pluto, which is the planet of transformation, and death and rebirth has been in retrograde. Thank God Mercury is no longer in retrograde, and we do not have that confusion energy with Neptune and Mercury. So we don't have that confusion energy, so take advantage of this. So if there are tests you've been putting off, or studies you've been putting off, or speeches you've been putting off, or logical writing you've been putting off, this is the time to actually take advantage, because as we mentioned last week, Mercury is in Cancer, and so this is a really good time to have those compassionate conversations, to really kind of get into your nurturing side and nurture yourself. So that's what's happening as far as astrology is concerned. I do want to speak to the collective of what's going on as far as, this year and a half, we've had the opportunity to, a lot of us have slowed down, and some people, lost their jobs and got unemployment. So I do want to talk about that, because I feel like what's happening in the collective is a lot of people are not coming back to work. They're really kind of, enjoying not working and being supported by the government, right, which is a very Saturnian energy. Now, there's no judgment in that, but it's creating this kind of lack and scarcity, not only products and services, but manpower. Because I went to the Apple store the other day, and it was like a Monday, and it felt like a Saturday. It was packed, and I was like, whoa, what's happening? Is there a sale? And somebody's like, well, nothing ever goes on sale in Apple. But I was just kind of curious why there was this excessive demand for Apple employees and services, but there was nobody to serve anybody, and you had to wait half an hour even past your appointment time, which is so different than the pre-COVID days. You didn't have to schedule an appointment to go shopping at Apple before COVID. And so I asked one of the employees, what is going on? Why is it that, there's all this demand and not enough supply, and there's not enough people to serve? And they're like, well, because people haven't come back to work. And so this is really a huge issue that we're dealing with in the collective, is people are trying to figure out, is it even worth my time for me to work minimum wage or retail, or do I just sit at home and collect an unemployment check, even though that could potentially be disempowering, right? Because money is power on this earth plane. But that's something we're dealing with, is a lot of people are trying to reassess, is it even worth it for me to go back and work? So that's creating a worker shortage, and that's creating that lack and scarcity mindset, even with products and stuff like that, even though we live in an abundant universe. Something else that I'm noticing with the collective is, unfortunately, the energy's been really, really heavy, because a lot of people have been piecing out. And I would categorize it in 3 different camps. So you have the people who got vaxxed, who are having health issues, like I've mentioned before, whether it's enlarged hearts or issues with their brain or lung tissue or blood issues. These are previously healthy people with no pre-existing conditions. So some people are piecing out. There's been lots of deaths due to vaccine injury. So you have that camp of people, unfortunately, that are leaving us. And then you have the camp of people that haven't done a lot of spiritual work or inner work and maybe have been escaping their emotions and not letting them flow and just kind of getting rid of stagnant energy or doing that deep work or addressing any heartache or stuck energy in the past. So those people are developing chronic issues like cancer, lymphoma, heart disease, heart attacks. And so there's a lot of people that haven't really done their work, that are piecing out as well due to chronic issues, and they're on their way out of the planet. So you have people that have been vaxxed, that have been unconscious, that gave their power away, that didn't remain in their sovereignty and didn't say no, and just kind of like were bamboozled into taking a lot of these toxic vaccines. So they're piecing out, and then you have people that haven't done the inner spiritual work that are piecing out because they're developing all these chronic issues like with cancer and heart disease. So that's the second camp. And sadly, you have the third camp of, and it doesn't have to just be young people. A lot of young people are committing suicide, unfortunately, but it's of all ages, people that are committing suicide because they might have been starseeds or light workers and have come to the planet on this mission. And now with everything being as crazy as it is, and everything that we've gone through and the collective trauma for the last year and a half, so a lot of people are saying like, you know what, this energy is too heavy for me. This is not what I signed up for. A lot of people are losing their jobs because they're not getting the vax. They're afraid of losing their jobs, or they're being forced to get the vaccination to keep their jobs. So there's a lot of manipulation, a lot of control tactics, a lot of fear going on, fear mongering. And so a lot of people, are saying like, enough is enough. This is not what I signed up for. This is too much. I didn't realize going in and incarnating during this very tumultuous time is going to be this, this dimming of my light. And unfortunately, those light workers are piecing out and committing suicide. So my heart goes out to all of you that have lost a loved one, whether through COVID or vaccine injury or suicide, or somebody who's having a chronic illness because they refuse to do the inner spiritual work in order to heal themselves. So whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. My heart goes out to you and your family and friends because this is not an easy time. And unfortunately, it feels like things are going to get worse before they get better. And we need to stand in our power and our sovereignty and speak our truth and be true to ourselves and truly believe that God is not going to have you living on the street with no food on the table or roof over your head. And ultimately, if you choose that it's the right thing for you not to take the vax and honor your body temple, then God will support you in that, and you will find employment, or you'll find ways of making money, and you'll always be taken care of, and you don't need to be threatened or manipulated or controlled or be forced to do something that you're not comfortable with just so that you can keep your job. So again, Rena Yassiri with InsideJobHealing.com. I love you guys. My heart goes out to you. Stay strong. These are very heavy, difficult energies, but there's also some great Venus, Jupiter energies in the air. So have fun with your friends, go on dates, experience the passion, experience the beauty of the energy, and just know that if you are true to yourself, that no one can harm you, and that you are going to live a peaceful, sovereign life regardless of what's going on in the planet, regardless of all the craziness and all the people that are not allowed to be visiting Canada because they're unvaccinated, or Australia. So as crazy as things might be coming, all you can do is keep your side of the street clean, stay in your power, stay in your sovereignty, do what's right for you, and know that Spirit will always take care of you. I'm here, so feel free to share this message if you feel like it resonates and one of your friends or loved ones or family members needs to hear it. Please follow me, please like, please share, please comment. Just know that I'm on your side, and I love you guys. All right, Rena Yassiri with InsideJobHealing.com.